Hello everybody, it's your pal Chrissy here, and this is another chill speed paint video. This one is of an artwork that I did a while back that I really like and am excited to show you guys. So for those who don't know, this is a redraw of a drawing I made a couple years back. It's of this one, and it's of my OC Chris, and my character Chris is a character for a project that I'm working on. It'll probably be a while before it comes out, but it's for a little thing called Guardian Angels. I actually talked about this a while back in my Pride Month video, and Chris was one of the people that I drew in that one. So Chris is an angel, he's a guardian angel. But yeah, this drawing that I made a while back, I made when I was trying to do like a series of drawings where each one was inspired by a different aesthetic. So for the one that I drew Chris in, it was going to be the pastel one, just the pure pastel cute vibe. That series didn't really go that far. I think I just did a few drawings and that was it. But what's interesting about that drawing is that I actually made that before I made Chris's first ever design. This is his current design now, actually, but I actually just redesigned him recently, and his first one I made, his first ref sheet I made a while ago, but I made the first drawing of him before I actually ever made that ref sheet. So this drawing is actually kind of like my first time drawing Chris. It was the first picture he was featured in. But yeah, I just decided I would redraw him in some more better drawn clothes, because I do really like fashion, and I really like drawing my characters in cute clothes, and giving them some really cool outfits. Some of like the biggest things that I do when trying to design a character I usually focus on is the clothes, unless they're like some sort of like mythical creature that doesn't really wear clothes, then I won't worry about that much. But for those who do, I usually focus a lot on their outfits and what they're wearing. And so, but for this one, Chris is wearing something different from what he would normally wear, his like main outfit. But I decided it would be really fun to try and redesign that first outfit that I drew him in that drawing. And also obviously draw him to be more accurate to how he looks now. You probably noticed while I was doing the line art here, but I decided to draw Chris in a skirt and dress this time. And that's because Chris likes to dress very femininely. He actually didn't used to. Well, he obviously used to be alive. He used to be just a normal human kid. And one day when he died and became an angel, he became an angel, obviously. But when he went to the afterlife, it's not heaven. It's a different version of the afterlife. But when he went to the afterlife and he woke up in like his new space, because he's a guardian angel, he does get he's kind of like one of the highest ranking angels because he's a guardian angel, but he got his own space and he got new clothes, and the clothes that he got was actually the dress that I just showed in the ref sheet. At first he was a little confused because he had never really dressed femininely before when he was alive, but when he put on the outfit, he actually thought it was really nice, and it was when he realized that he actually does like dressing femininely and being more feminine. He is a dude. He does identify as a boy. He is cis still, but he just likes to dress femininely. I suppose that would make him gender non-conforming, but yeah. And the reason why he got a dress is because one of the other characters, Willow, who you'll actually see here at the end shortly, I'll explain why, but Willow, one of the other angels, when she learned that there was going to be a new guardian angel, she took it upon herself to get the new angel a new outfit, and she got misinformed that it was the new guardian angel would be a girl, and so she got a like what she would define as like a battle appropriate dress, even though it's not really, but they're angels, so it's fine. But she thought Chris was going to be a girl, and when she actually met Chris and saw that he was not, she at first was a little freaked out and was apologizing, but Chris was like, no, it's fine, I really liked it. And she was like, oh. And she's like, oh, I guess that's fine then. And I think in that moment, you know, it would be a bit of a character progression thing where she realized, hey, boys can wear dresses and be fabulous as well. And I just thought that would be really cool. But yeah, that's the explanation. And you know, there doesn't always have to be an explanation why a character looks cute and dresses cute. Sometimes they just gotta, and they look absolutely fabulous. Most of my boy characters actually are very feminine, because I just like breaking gender stereotypical rules and doing whatever I want, okay? So let's just agree on that. But yeah, as you can see, I brought up the old picture for a bit of a reference, and I decided to use that for some of the colors and some of the pastel colors. I did a bit of a different technique with my hatching shading with the liner that I like to do, and instead of that, I did like a almost like a blocking thing. So I almost did, you know, in like older comics where they used like just straight black for the shadows, but it wasn't like blended or anything. It was just like in the line art, and it was like completely black. Well, that's basically what I did here, but with the pink instead that I used for the line art. And yeah, I have both Chris's current design and his pastel one in the picture there. And obviously Chris has much longer hair now, so the gradient in his hair is going to show a lot more. But yeah, I had a lot of fun figuring out the colors with this one, figuring out which colors to work with, because I still wanted it to be pastel and pastel vibes, just a little more current to how I would design a character that way and how I would design Kristen that way. And yeah, so as you can see, before I went on to the rendering process, I gave Chris some makeup. Again, this is all part of like designing him very feminine, and I have been having a fun time giving characters makeup when I render them. Mostly I've been experimenting with this in my character Lai, whose makeup is it's pretty like inspired by more pastel goth aesthetics, so it was fun to give Chris just like a simply pure pastel vibe makeup look. And the way that I usually do that is I'll use my watercolor brushes from Clip Studio to add some eyeshadow around the eye area, and also a little bit of color under the lip, sometimes under, sometimes also under and over. Over the lip, yeah, that makes sense. Just in the lip area to add some color there, and I'll also, you know, add some blushing, but a little extra blushing because obviously they're adding a little extra more. And in the case of Chris here, I also added some shapes under his eyes with these little hearts. And yeah, I thought that looked really cute. I'm right now just rendering the eyes as you do. But yeah, for the lighting in this one, I went with just like a purely simple solid color background. I do add some more details to it. So the lighting for this one was pretty easy to figure out with this one, because it was just a very simple background and simple rendering process. I did make the background darker, which is what I usually do when drawing characters now. Back then, my first picture of Chris actually is fairly accurate to how I would normally draw, and I actually did used to stick to very pastel colors back then when I drew Chris, for like the backgrounds and pretty much everything, very pastel-y saturated colors. Nowadays I'll stick to a bit more darker and more saturated colors for the background, and then a bit more lighter colors for the characters, and I'll use a lot of saturated colors for the rendering nowadays. But yeah, I thought that would be a nice change, even though it's not like purely pastel, because the background isn't going to be just pastel, I still think it works well, and I think the whole point is to have that aesthetic come through the character and what they're wearing and stuff, and how they're looking, and the colors they use for them. And I think I was able to do that with this one. As you can also tell with Chris's hair, I decided against giving him just the pink gradient that I added in his first drawing, and went with a lighter pink instead, just because I felt like the gradient worked more. And plus, Chris's actual hair gradient is a gray, so it goes from yellow to gray. So I felt like the lighter pink made more sense with his canon hair color. So as you can tell, I added in the little wings and the halo that I had in the pastel Chris in the first drawing, although I didn't have the halo then, but I did here because I thought that fit. And for the background, I decided to add a gradient to yellow, just because so the color harmonies would make sense. And I also added some screen tones, some patterns, and just overall make the whole thing look more cutesy and more fun. And yeah, I thought that looked pretty good. I also added this like very faint white silhouette behind Chris, and just so he popped a bit more away from the background. And yeah, that would have been it for the full thing if I hadn't done something else. Yeah, I decided to make a little comic for the very last part of this. So what I did, I laid out what I was gonna draw. I made some little squares. The first big square was gonna be Chris, the drawing I just made of him, but like with the border of an Instagram post. So the point here was that the drawing I made was going to be an in-universe Instagram post, and some of the characters would be reacting to him and how he looks in that post. So those characters are Willow, in the first one here, who I am drawing currently. Like I said, Willow is the character who originally made Chris realize that he liked to dress more femininely. And Willow, I've talked about her before. Again, she was also in the Pride Month video. She's very eccentric. She loves fashion. She is she likes taking charge of things, and she likes she kind of likes being the center of attention, but she does really love fashion and giving people the chance to express themselves. And so when she saw this post, she probably would have been like, oh my god, that's so cute, and then called Zach to show him the post. And in the background, Willow here is Amelia, her girlfriend, who probably just walked in on Willow, who was shouting, and she was probably just wondering, what the heck's going on here? Willow, what are you doing? And she realized what's going on. And in the lower panel is going to be Zach. I haven't talked about Zach before, but Zach is another character. He's a ghost, actually. And you might be wondering, why is there a ghost in the afterlife? The whole point is that they're not in the afterlife. Again, that's a whole part of the story. But he was basically founded by some of the other characters who were on a hunt for some monsters. And they found Zach and decided to bring him to the afterlife. And Zach has a bit of a crush on Chris. He has a little bit of a crush on Chris, but he doesn't want to admit it. And he saw, obviously he probably saw Chris here and was like, oh my god, he does look really cute and hot, but I don't want to admit it, so I'm just gonna look away. But yeah, that's basically the interaction I wanted to draw here. And it was really nice to be able to just draw a simple comic. Obviously the shading and rendering is going to be much simpler than the one that I drew Chris in, just because I did this already in total, like the whole comic thing took an hour to do, and I didn't want it to be even more longer than that. Sorry for the voice crack, but yeah, I'm just going to be drawing this little comic here with their interactions, and I gave them some speech bubbles, and I drew some simple backgrounds as well that probably would have been like their rooms or something. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for that. And I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the speed paint, and I will come back once the comic portion is all done. that is it for this drawing. I think everyone looked really cute, and I love how the redraw of Chris turned out. I think it looks much more like him and what he would wear and how he would dress, and I really like how it turned out. So yeah, let me know if how you like this video. I have all my stuff in the description linked below, my comics and all my other artworks. This one is on my Instagram, so feel free to check all of that out. And as always, if you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.